Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Welcome to my presentation. This is different for me. If you've been to anything else that I've done or do, this is not my norm. There's a couple reasons for that, but I wanted to do this because I wanted a little bit of fun, and I wanted to share something fun if other people wanted to see it. I'm not a Canva expert. I just have learned to do some things in there since COVID started. It's also not only outside of my norm for what I usually do presentations or workshops or lunch and learns on, but I would be the last person you'd think would want to share information about some other technology. I was so overwhelmed last year. I had never taught online until COVID. And I remember at one point, Devonna asking the RISE instructors to do a flip grid, and I just burst into tears at home on my couch. Like, I cannot learn how to do one more thing with all of this pressure. So it's really funny and ironic that here I am sharing about Canva. Does anybody know if there's a way to share in the chat, if you're interested, if you have an assignment that you assign to students and it's close by and ready, that you want to share with everybody, a visual assignment that you assign, something you assign to students that has them turn in a visual as the product. If anybody knows if that's possible, we can share, and if you want to share, that would be awesome, because I only have the little bit, that I do. So Anna Maria says, I can, let me find out. So I'll let, Elizabeth says, tells a fantastical story introducing, that's fab. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys keep doing what you do in the chat. I see Nate does assign stuff, so y'all keep it going in the chat with visual assignments that you assign students and what you do. I think you guys, we might learn more from y'all than from me. I'll go ahead and start sharing what I have about Canva and how I even came to use this. Can you guys see my screen? I guess I should ask Andy, because since I can't see the chat now. Andy, can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, so what is Canva? If you don't know, and it looks like some people do, which is awesome, Canva is an online graphic design platform. It basically, you can make really cool visuals, all different types, without having to have an advanced knowledge of an editing software or pay for that software, because there are two versions. And what I was really drawn to with Canva is how extensive the free version was. So that the user friendliness and that it was free and I could do a lot is really why I started using it for what I wanted to do. We'll visit it when I'm finished talking, but I did want you to just see what it looks like if you've never been there. So I just took a screenshot of the home page. The paid version is incredible. I don't have the $12.99 a month, nor use it enough to do that. I did do the 30 days free, and that was really awesome. But again, the free version is plenty. So there's a couple places you can click to sign up. Signing up is really easy. Finding it is really easy, www.canva.com. I just signed up with work email since I was using it for work, so that's the choice that I did. Once you have an account, actually, I'm going to come back to this screen in a second because I just learned something new recently. Once you have an account, you get kind of a landing or home page that looks like this. Mine looks a little bit different than if you're brand new setting one up, and this is because I've been using it now for, oh gosh, a year and a half, 14, I don't know, something like that. Time means nothing in COVID. A year and a half, I don't know, 2 years. But anyway, because I've been using it for a while, it has my designs and stuff down here, but there's still this basic stuff at the top templates is usually the place that you go to get started. And then on the side, it again keeps all of your designs. You can click, you can go back to anything you've ever made and edit it and reuse it, which is another reason I kept using Canva. Now back to this previous screen. In doing research and just trying to learn a bit more about this, I realized, and some of you may have already known this, that there's a Canva for educators. And so this past week when I was working on this, I went to the page and I saw it said for K-12 teachers. I'm like, okay, well, that's not me, and I don't want to take advantage of that because it's not me. But as I scrolled down on here to just see if I could read some of the articles that were for educators and look at their templates, as soon as I clicked on something, I immediately got Canva for educators. I guess it's because I was already logged in and I have an EDU email. So it just gave it to me. And that changed my homepage. And so pretty soon, the templates that were being suggested to me were all educational driven. So I don't know if that will happen to you as well if you decide to check out Canva or use it and you do sign up, or if this happened to you and you can share a little bit more about that in the chat, go ahead. But I didn't want to take advantage of them because I'm not K-12, but they gave it to me and it's awesome. So me personally, there's 4 ways I've used Canva. This is me designing infographics for lessons and PowerPoints in my class, me designing banners for my Blackboard shells, me creating assignments for my students where the end product is a visual and they use Canva, although, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, I always give my students multiple options, and throughout what I'm going to say today, I will touch on just ADA and being aware of different abilities. So if I assign something that results in a visual, I do accommodate a number of different students and give them a couple choices. And then the last way that I use Canva is assignment feedback, so giving feedback to students. So let's do the first one, look at the first one, me creating infographics for lessons and class PowerPoint. There are thousands of templates in here for free that you can start with. They're really incredible, and you can take anything and everything out of them. And again, even though we're going to visit this site, or I'll give you time to visit it, I did do a little screencast to show you how to find the infographic templates the fastest way, which is once you're on your landing page, you go to templates. The infographics are under the marketing section. Once you click on that, there's a choice over to the side where you can look at them by theme, which there's hundreds of themes. They're really awesome. Sometimes I search by theme, or you can just scroll down and look at them, pick one. And again, you can take anything out. So if you see a part of one that you like, you can start with that. These are just a few infographics that I've created to embed, again, into lessons and PowerPoints. And now talking about accessibility, anything that I try to have that's in color or has visuals, I have somewhere else in plain text. I also, well, I'll save that for a little bit later. I like putting some information into the form of infographics. I think it grabs people's attention. It touches on different types of learners. it helps organize things, especially this one in the center. I took a tremendous amount of information that I feel like the students may have thought was really boring, just all typed out, and it might have got all, it might have ran together for them to see all of these. And so I could create a quick visual where I separated this information. And this particular infographic, I have, they have to refer back to a number of times throughout the semester to do work, to make choices, to answer why they put something in a particular place. But
Kelly, we have a couple comments right now in the chat.
Excellent.
Erica has asked if anyone uses Canva instead of PowerPoint. Anna Maria said that she loves the infographics and she uses them as a pre-writing project for the visual rhetorical analysis essay.
Oh,
and for
excellent.
those of you who aren't familiar with the visual rhetorical analysis essay, the students are actually breaking down different rhetorical strategies within an image. So that's really a neat way to focus them on visual rhetoric there. And then Nate says that he likes these infographics as handouts in seated classes to go along with PowerPoint presentations.
Oh, that's awesome. Nate, do you make your own and then print them out and distribute them?
He said
Andy, since
that,
I can't. Okay, thanks.
he said that he usually does, yes.
Uh-huh.
And Anna Maria said she emailed you some samples also.
Wonderful. Wow, thanks. Okay, thanks for stopping. And I want this to be a little informal. Please stop at any time. If anybody else wants to say anything, please don't. This is definitely not a super serious workshop. So hop in anytime in the chat, or if you just want to say something, say it. This is awesome. Back to that first question, Canva instead of PowerPoint. Does anybody prefer Canva over PowerPoint when making slides, presentations, videos, or just images? I used to only use PowerPoint to create images and have my students create JPEGs, but I've moved away from it. I mean, I still use it, and like I was saying earlier about giving my students choices, that's definitely always still a choice. Because you can design a slide in PowerPoint and save it as a JPEG, and so you have just that one slide. I always give my students that choice. But Canva is a really incredible tool, so you could replace it, especially just for yourself, if you were so inclined. The next way that I've come to use Canva is to create banners for my Blackboard shells. Now, like I said before, I've been teaching 12 years. I never taught an online class until COVID. And so when I first started, I made a banner for the top that had the class name and section number, so each one was a little bit unique. And then as time went on, I wanted things to stand out to my students aside from just the announcements. I wanted a way to capture their attention and to make sure they were reading things. And so it just sort of evolved to the point that I post a new banner, which takes up a considerable amount of space. Like you can see, obviously this is a screenshot of my view because there's more things over in the left-hand menu. But it would take up a considerable amount of space for them, even in their view. And I get really good feedback about these. The first week, I do a welcome here and tell them exactly what to click to get started in my classes. I almost never get an email of what do I do? I don't know where to find this or that. And then each week it just changes depending on the class. Sometimes it's instructional. Like if I have a week where I'm teaching intros and conclusions, I might do something like this, where I just point out something important, or I say it in a different way here than I said in the lesson. Because again, everything you can be found somewhere in plain text. But students, this is a visual world, and they respond well to these sorts of things. And once you make something, you can reuse it. So I didn't start out doing a new banner every single week for every single class. I made one here and there as I thought about it, or if I had a little extra time, and then I just built my folders so that I had banners for the Rise classes, banners for 111, banners for 232, banners for 273, and now I don't have to make them anymore.
We have some other comments that have come in.
Okay.
Maria said that she's never used Canva, but she loves PowerPoint, and she'd like to drop her own infographics into PowerPoint, so this looks perfect. And
Yay.
that she loves your banners. Erica has a clarifying question. So she asked, you post an announcement as a Canva banner.
Yes. So I make and tell me if I'm answering the question or not, Erica. I make the banner in Canva, and then just post it into Blackboard. And so instead of announcements, I do a banner so that it takes up the whole screen. It's colorful, catches their attention. Does that answer?
She said, yes, thank you, and
Yeah.
great idea. Nate also thinks that this is a great idea, as does Elizabeth. And she said it's your Blackboard landing page for class, and I think that you answered that.
Yes. Yes. Oh, go ahead, Andy.
And Anna Maria said that she copied your banner strategy, and Sabrina says that this is a genius idea as well.
Thanks, everybody. I really do get some of the best feedback from the semester from my students from the banners. And I don't know if it worked. I tried to share some files before I started the presentation today. I don't know if I did that in the right place, but I actually made a Word document. I saved it as a PDF. How to do this, how to create a banner in Canva, save it to your computer, and how to upload it in Blackboard if you've never done that. If that file didn't come through, let me know, and when I'm done showing you my presentation, this PowerPoint, I'll reshare, or I'll give you my email address, because I made that handout just for today, just for you guys if you wanted to do the banners. I show you how.
I don't see that file, Kelly.
Okay.
And Beth asked if you put the banner image in your teaching style area of
Yes.
Blackboard. And Erica
Yes.
asked if you save your banner as a JPEG.
Yes, and yes, and yes. All yeses. And I'll reshare that as soon as I'm done showing this PowerPoint. Or again, I'll give you my email, because I again created that just for you guys, how to make banners in Canva, save it to your computer, upload it into your Blackboard shell. Of course, if you're more comfortable making an image in PowerPoint and saving that as a JPEG, that's what I did before I started using Canva, or got really into Canva. I was just making them in PowerPoint. Some of my other banners, I in this screenshot, I just screenshotted the banner. I didn't show you like the Blackboard shell and the menu on the side, but especially for Rise student, like developmental students or English 111 students who's their first time, I try to remember what it's like when I was a student and had to do my first online class and just was so lost and overwhelmed. So sometimes I have a banner that's just how to do something simple, like this is how you post to a discussion board. There's also, so many students, I understand this intimately as well, being a former coastal student who is an adult. I knew the teacher said, ask me anything, please, I want to answer all your questions, but I was afraid to ask. Like, they're going to think I'm stupid, and So sometimes this alleviates that. I'll get little notes. They'll be like, "Thank you so much for the picture on how to do this." So sometimes my banners look like this. Um, Sometimes, it's a higher level course. They don't need that sort of thing. So I'll make a banner that ties into the theme or what we're doing for the week. Just a way to just add color and beauty. Canva really became also for me a tool for me to bring my personality to the online classroom. Aside from just the stress of COVID and trying to learn how to teach online, one of my biggest concerns and issues was I was so used to being in the classroom and my students knew who I was. They knew my excitement. They could see it, feel it, probably could hear it. And they knew I loved them. I didn't know how to do that in class until I figured out how to bring things like this in. This is what the document looks like that I created for you. Again, I'll share that when we're finished. But I have instructions, exactly what to click. And Canva's really cool. It's kind of like other programs. The way I show you how to make a Blackboard banner is not the only way. So some of you who use Canva, you may use a different template to make images. That's totally possible. Anything in the chat or thoughts or questions before I move on to the third way I use Canva?
Erica said that it's super easy. She just created one. And Maria also said that she would love for you to share your how-to document.
Okay.
And I also put your email address in the chat box for everybody to see.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Awesome. Anybody email me anytime for anything. Yes.
And for clarification's sake, I believe when you upload documents to share, it's similar to how you're sharing your PowerPoint. I don't think that participants can actually